Today, I want to offend a whole bunch of people by talking about fees. That's right, fees. There is starting to be more and more discussion by credible sources about fee compression, which basically I'm just going to, for the purposes of this video, describe as this. A lot of fee business model design in consulting, financial services, legal, accounting, marketing, frankly, is honestly designed around ignorance from clients. So let me make it really simple. If you don't transparently disclose what your fees are and how closely those fees are associated to direct ROI to the client, you're very vulnerable going forward. And the reason being is often people that exist in that paradigm where they're not directly tied to ROI or closely associated with it are selling information. And you are going to have challenges from technology in the future, especially AI. Like, so one of the things that's really important for you to do every now and then is to have someone that isn't on your AI account, right? Because remember, your AI is biased no matter what you do. I mean, I've got all these protocols on mine to have it challenge me, but like have someone get on their professional account that isn't directly associated with you and ask by name if you are credible, and then ask if your industry's fees are fair or not. So financial advisors, you should be examining on a regular basis, at least once a month, what your potential customers are hearing about what you do and what you charge. You're a fool if you don't. If you run a large firm, law, accounting, financial services, consulting, if you run one of these firms and you're not doing this type of research on your own business, you're going to be a victim. So let's get back to it. Like, say, for example, that you charge 1% on the amount of money you manage. I'm not saying you're worth it or not, but I want you to think about customer behavior and how AI is going to influence it. Say that account goes from 1% okay to 30 years later, it's $3 million. How much money has that client paid for that 1%? One could conservatively say in excess of $700,000. My question is this: did you actually do anything more at any point in the journey than you did at the beginning? I am not talking to the shysters and the charlatans. What I'm really talking to are the great advisors in every field that are worth more than 1%. Like, so I want to get us off of this. Is 1% justified? And I want to get into how directly associated are you with ROI for your client? And I don't want to remove psychographics from this, right? So one of the reasons that I work with a financial advisor and why all my friends do is because we want the confidence and, quite frankly, the comfort of knowing that we have a highly skilled professional that is fiduciarily, meaning they're obligated legally to my best interest. That's more than 1% for me, because I then will have confidence to achieve better. So I'm not saying that 1% is a bad deal. What I am saying is, for those of you that are worth more, we have to at least create better narratives about our fees and why they exist, and not prattle like, oh, I'm going to like, no, literally, I want to challenge you to create various structures within your business and your sales organization that transparently prove to your clients that you're worth more than 1%, that help remind them. And I just want to tell you this: when you start doing it that way, your referrals are going to explode. It's not going to be just because they think you care for them. It's going to be because they freaking know you do, by how you communicate, how you talk about pricing, how you talk about the return. Now, let me address the people that don't deliver value. You're toast. I talked about it yesterday. You're toast, because you are going to get exposed for what you are, a freeloader. Think about it. if you're on retainer, if you're on any kind of subscription-based business, and we all want to be, like, we love subscription revenue, right? Make sure that your pricing's transparent. So if you're getting paid more, right, as your client's value increases, make sure your client explicitly understands and sees that your value to them increases along with their value to you in revenue. Once again, I'm not attacking any business model. What I am attacking is being lumped in with the mediocrity. If this is hitting you and you're like, I'm worth more than 1%, you're exactly who I'm talking to. And I'm not attacking you. I'm trying to embolden you to believe even more that you do that work and to just to double down on it. And let's work on a structure for communication and sales, a structure for delivery that reassures, creates a moat around your clients that no stupid AI chat can ever assail. And the reason is because you're freaking awesome. Like, you're the clients I love working with. You're the people I love talking to, right? So what's the message? You're worth more than 1%. And let's make it really easy for your clients and your prospects to be able to understand that and then fight off all of the jackals and the hyenas. The book project is coming along. I had kind of not tabled it, but paused it. It was going to be the ideal client project. And then some stuff happened in professional services on the software side that confirmed some things I wrote about over 5 years ago about what AI was going to do, specifically reference business models, right? So there's a lot of different factors that go into this, and it's not AI's taking your job. It's a lot more complicated and yet simple. Had to update the book, and so it's really the book was going to be the ideal client project, and now it's about becoming a new type of business model, and it's pretty exciting. So that's the big focus. Got a lot of consulting clients that are taking me up on my big discount if you come visit me as opposed to me visiting you. And I really appreciate that. And it's very exciting. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. The thing I would, not a teaser, but this is something you can do right now. One of the biggest challenges I see within professional services, and this applies really, really directly to financial services, law, and accounting, is sunk cost fallacy. And this is something that comes from the investment world, as in, or business world, when you've got too much invested that you feel like you can't switch, and that's what ends up taking you down. Well, I want you to look at your business model, and I want you to take a long, hard look at whether that business model is going to be challenged by AI. And I'm going to give you a hint, it already is. And what you need to think about is not like what jobs and things like that, but how is AI, shout out to Mark Schaefer, with how AI is changing customers' behavior, one of the greatest books ever written for business. But the most important thing about AI is how is it changing buyer behavior? And AI in the B2B world, professional services, this is what we do. In the B2B world, if you're a CEPA, Certified Exit Planner, if you're with Exit Plan Institute, if you're a member of George Sandman's Growth Drive community using his software, like if you're in this community, what I don't see people talking about and thinking about, because number one, they don't identify as a sales organization. So that's an idiot mistake, right? But when you identify as a sales organization, what you're concerned about is buyer behavior. What is influencing buyers' behavior? How can we influence that ourselves? How can we adapt? How can we be the most attractive to that buyer at all the stages of the sales process, right? You need to start reading and thinking about how AI is affecting business owner buying behavior, because it already is. So take a look at your service model, take a look at your fees, and start thinking about how AI is going to change it. Last hint, information is not going to be the future for you. Possessing unique information is not going to be the future. It's going to be execution. Most of you are grotesquely unprepared for the future. And the reason is because you focus on having answers to questions that don't matter, right? So for example, if you're a consultant and you're selling results that a client may experience, and I say may, years down the road by you helping grow their firm, you are purposefully designing a long sales process, and a sales process that's going to be not contentious, but difficult, because you're selling a huge amount of investment, both in financial capital, but also human capital within and without that firm, for a result that you can't guarantee, right? So if you think about it, average consultant, 5 to 10,000 a month. If you're selling something 3 years away, like everything you say right now, that business owner better be able to look at and say, man, this is right now worth $400,000 for me in my bank account. So let me make it simple. Here's how you start. I was just talking to a friend, Tim, about how do I do what I do? How do I create immediate revenue opportunities for referral partners and clients? And sometimes I don't, by the way, but it's the process. It starts with this, making sure that you have the conversations with these people about how they make money and how you can make money for them as soon as possible in a way that they understand and they're already good at. Stop. That's it. Right? When we were running B&I groups here and then eventually across different areas of the country, the only thing that I was great at, and I'm good at training, I'm good at coaching, but the only thing I was good at was this insatiable demand within myself to ask as many B&I members as I could whenever I met them if they were making money or not. That's the secret. You have to be a sales freaking organization. And that starts with understanding, if you're an advisor, whether you're a financial advisor, an attorney, a CPA, coach, or consultant, get on the sharp end of the spear, start talking about stuff that really matters. And what really matters to these people, the way that you create cash flow for you 3 to 6 months from now, is you have to have a conversation that can do that for them 1 to 3 months from now. Right? So when we talk in Can I Borrow Your Car about giving as the macro system, the large system, a big part of giving is asking what they really need and how you can deliver it. It's not just about giving referrals. It's about creating sales opportunities for them that they can see and they can execute upon before you. We are talking about don't blow up your car while you're building your next one. So there's a lot of disruption going on in professional services, whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not. The future is pretty evident about certain aspects of the emerging business model post AI disruption. And one of those realities is fee compression. You're going to hear a whole bunch of fear mongering, hopefully not from me, but you're going to hear a whole bunch of stuff out there about, oh, AI is going to do this, AI is going to do that. I don't think that's productive. I think what is productive, however, is going ahead and starting to work right now if you are interested in being ahead of the curve and maximizing profitability in the new business model. I think now's the time where you start working in parallel. And I really mean parallel, because what you can't afford to do right now, if you're an attorney, if you're an accountant, if you're a financial advisor, if you're running a coaching consulting business, what you can't afford to do right now is blow everything up and try and sell customers now what they're going to demand 5 years from now. That's not effective, right? So, start building the framework that will allow you to adapt as you go forward. So what I'm saying is, just use financial services, for example. AUM is an old ass business model. And it's a business model that's predicated upon a couple of things that are no longer true, right? It's no longer true that you need unique, special information to be able to manage portfolios, because almost all investment and portfolio management is done through algorithms and things like that. I am not saying that investment advice is not worth paying for, but I'm saying transparency changes buyer behavior. And so, for example, one of my great clients has been telling his clients for 3 years that the way you pay us is not what you're paying us for. He is freaking brilliant. I'm not telling you who it is. I'm not telling you where it is, because that's his deal. And it's one of the reasons he's so successful. He is ahead of the curve already. He saw it coming, and I work with him, and what we're not doing is ripping the engine out while we're driving down the highway, right? Times are still good. AUM is still accepted, profitable, and effective for most investing relationships. It's not the future, at least not at the profit margins currently. So what do? Well, you don't blow up your business, right? You don't blow it up. Instead, you make a decision. Am I going to ride this horse till it drops? Right. And that could be if you're in your late 50s or early 60s and you're a financial advisor and you've actually done your job for yourself, right? So you're independent, like you've got independent wealth, so you don't need to work for income. You may actually want to consider selling right now, like the next year, because I'm not sure the multiples are going to be anywhere close to what they are now, even 3 years from now, right? Doesn't mean you should be afraid. It just means it's different, right? So if you're in your 30s and 40s, well, probably would be a really good idea to invest some resources into looking to reasonably anticipate what you're going to need to adapt to. And instead of trying to pick one business model and say, this is what it's going to be, instead say, okay, well, how can I create a framework for my company that is going to be adaptable and competitive now and in the future? And now being far less important than the future. So that means that we're not going to blow up your current business, and we're not going to stop running your current business. We are going to carve out, either through some extra investment and time or through improving your current business so that you can do more future work now, right? So we're going to decentralize you now or in the future. What the hell's Mike saying? There is tremendous opportunity. If you are intending and planning on being in professional services 5 years from now, you have got an amazing opportunity to get ahead of the game without financial risk right now. It's always expensive to change fast. It's always expensive to change late. It's always a resource spend to change, period. So let's manage the change. Let's do so not by reworking everything you do and destroying your profitability right now, but instead, let's work on manageable, incremental change that is ready for whatever happens in the future. So why are you here? You're here because you need to hear this. You can't help everyone, and you really shouldn't, right? One of the challenges with networking as a concept and how it has infected, in a bad way, really effective referrals done predictably, which, by the way, I'm kind of flattered lots more people are talking about that are competitors. Anyways, here's the deal. Networking is about saying the right things in a huge tent full of people to maybe get one or two responses. Strategic referral team is about saying the right things to the right people for the right reasons consistently. So we are about, like, I'm not going to throw lures into the ocean unless I know there are fish where I'm throwing the lure. So fishing is a really good metaphor here. You have to understand the water. You have to understand what's in the water. You have to understand the currents and all the things. All that being aside, here's the deal. You should prioritize giving referrals on purpose, recruiting professionals that you will give referrals to on purpose based upon the likelihood of you being able to successfully do so and the ease of doing it. So likelihood would mean that there would be an authentic need potentially for that person, and ease would be your comfort and understanding of that person. So great example. I was very thankful, by the way. I had the honor of having a face-to-face referral introduction from one of my trusted sources to a potential referral partner, definitely somebody that I'll be giving referrals to, and somebody probably that I'll end up getting referrals from. And it was a commercial realtor, really great guy. And the meeting went tremendous. My referral partner was absolutely perfect. In fact, he did a better job explaining who and what I'm really about without saying it's what I did than I do. I'll take it. Thank you. But the coolest thing is we went through all of the standard business stuff. And then near the end of the meeting, I was sharing a little bit about my son, and we discovered that this potential referral partner, really great guy, was in the room a couple years ago when I did a really personal speech for a local nonprofit that runs my son's adult day program, runs those programs in multiple locations, and also does some schools. And he's like, "You're the guy that made me cry." And all of a sudden, like, I was already very, very interested in working with this guy. And now I'm definitely going to, because this is a person who has a heart for things that that dramatically affect me. You know, as the parent of a son with severe, profound autism that's not getting better, finding people that understand that, I can't describe to you. So this is why we do what we do. That doesn't happen when you're networking and you're doing a couple of surface fluff comments and then you got to circle back. That happens when you get face to face, when you break bread, when there's enough time to really get to know each other. Don't just throw your fishing lures. Don't just throw your seed out into the great expanse. Target, and target deeply, because you're going to save so much more time if you spend an hour with someone or an hour and a half and discover that while they're nice and they're good, you're never going to purposely refer them. You still haven't wasted your time. But if you spend an hour talking to 20 different people with no significant relationship depth, it's generally wasted. So be real, be human, be authentic.